This is a Kirkendall Barrett presentation, darling.
Dad is dead. There is a dog.
You bought strawberries. Who do you think you are?
You buy homemade bread?
What are you, QAnon?
What makes him happy?
Not being in this movie?
Not being in this movie.
A lifetime of Hallmark.
Well, hello, everybody. It is your favorite day of the week. It is time for another episode of A Lifetime of Hallmark, where we talk about movies on both Lifetime and the Hallmark Channel and try to make sense of them. I am Les Kirkendall Barrett. Hello, Jason Bauer.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett.
And hello, Kurt Fitzpatrick.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett, and hello, Jason Bowers. And hello to our special guest.
Our friend of the very good friend of our show, Meredith Thomas. Hello, Meredith.
Hello, gentlemen. Hi.
Hi, welcome back.
Thanks.
Yes. You are our A-lister who comes on the show, so we're very excited.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm an A-lister on your show.
That's right. Absolutely.
It's questionable where I am on the list anywhere
I guess I did put it that way. I apologize.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. You're on the list. We're not even on the list.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
We get to the door. The doorman's looking at the clipboard. He's like, dude, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
And the reason why we have Meredith here is because we are talking about the show Keeping Up with the Joneses. And we're used to seeing Meredith in front of the camera, but with this project, Meredith is doing something a little different. Would you like to tell us about it?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So I had the opportunity to second unit direct the second season of Keeping Up with the Joneses, so all 4 episodes, and I actually last season had like a very little cameo as I don't know, I guess they called it a librarian, and then I actually this Friday the final movie of season 2, I will have another little cameo.
Nice.
Yes.
That's like your Hitchcock moment.
Yeah. Yes. So I'll tell you a little bit about how that happened. I was just watching how Lifetime seemed to be moving up a bunch of women from different crew positions and some of their actresses that work a lot on Lifetime. And I was like, hey, what about me? I think I would like to do that. And I looked at my IMDb and I was like, I have 30 television movie credits. I mean, if other people are going to start to direct and Lifetime needs more women, I think that I would like to do that. So I put in a few calls, but the first call was to the director of All My Wrong Movies, who I work with a lot, as you guys know, and who also Vivica A. Fox is one of the producers on. So that was my first call, and I said, I want to learn to direct. And he said, you probably know more than you think you know about directing, having been in 30 television movies. And I said, yeah, maybe. And it was towards the end of last year. And he said, well, with COVID, we're limiting the amount of people on set, but I know Vivica likes you, and let's figure out how we could maybe make this happen. And I was like, okay, great. And he goes, let's revisit this in the new year. And then, and I may have already told you this story, because then when shortly after I get the call to star in The Wrong Blind Date.
Well, you had told us that you had told us that you were looking to move into directing, but we didn't know that there was something already in motion at that point.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yep. I set this in motion. But the funny thing is that within kind of putting it out there to the people I put it out there to, within like weeks of that happening, I get a call from the same director, from David, saying, hey, I have something for you. And he had the lead in The Wrong Blind Date for me. He offered me that. And then another production company that I reached out to that works for Lifetime and that I've worked for a bit, they they were like, oh, hey, we have this for you. And it's a female director. And I was like, okay, well, that's good. I mean, we're getting kind of somewhere. It's not exactly what I asked for, but I'm not going to. And then I got it. And then another woman I had worked with before on crew was pumped up to director. And they said, oh, do you want to work on this? And again, so all of a sudden I'm working with more female directors. I put it out there. And then the new year comes and David texts and says, hey, let's talk tomorrow. I got something for you. And instead of making it me shadowing him, which is I had originally asked for, he gave me a job. The best way to learn. So I just jumped in and worked on all of the Keeping Up with the Joneses second season.
Nice.
So that's how that happened. I just kind of was like, hey, I think I'll try this. Let's see how this works out. And that's how it happened.
So
well, as I was,
go ahead.
I was sharing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. You go. No, you go. I was just.
Oh, no. Okay. So what? I think most people kind of know broadly what a director does, but most people have heard the term second unit director, don't quite know what that means. Can you kind of elaborate on what your job was like?
Yeah, because in the last episode, Jason said that sounded dirty.
What?
He did? Oh,
I said it. I just wanted to blame him for that.
Second unit. I'm trying to wrap my head around how that could be dirty. Second unit. Yeah, I guess I'm too. My mind doesn't work like that. You're like,
well, good.
Second unit. Okay. All right. Okay.
That's okay.
So,
we could revisit that.
Yeah.
Or not. Let's move on.
Or not.
So traditionally, second unit director is all of the stuff that, like all of that fancy footage that you see that doesn't have the actors speaking in front of it. So it's not as much scene work as it's like beauty shots, and you see stuff in between. It could also be like car chases and, just getting,
like a close up on the text message on the phone kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It could be that. It could be like, a shot of the park that with, more background in it, a shot of that we don't see the principals speaking in, but it establishes the park for everybody, and that kind of thing. But honestly, I kind of jumped in and wanted to do a little bit. I wanted to do everything. Like I wanted to, as much as possible, be standing behind David and watching how he worked with the actors and trying to understand why he blocked a shot a certain way. So second unit, that's kind of traditionally what it is. But I also jumped in and I got to cast all the extras.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So I did a lot of non-traditional second unit directing stuff too, and was on set. So I was on set a lot more with the principal talent, watching. David would, kind of walk me through what the day would be, and we'd go and I'd follow him there and just try to understand a little bit more, like really try to grasp what was going on by the other side of the camera. So the cool thing is that, I got to cast a bunch of background, and having been an actress for a few decades, it was really neat to be that cheerleader for people coming on my set, and so so when I'm watching all of these, I'm really like looking really closely. Oh, I see that person, and I see that person. And I'm like, oh, that looks really good. Like the way that came out, and so it was great fun. And I went from there, and I can tell you a little secret. So from there, I did those 4 Keeping Up with the Joneses, and then I did 3 that we have coming out, and I can't, it's just a working title, so I won't tell you what that working title is, but it's where Jack A. Harry is the lead. Yeah. Ooh. So 3, this formula with the full length, I mean, I guess we used to call them, what were they called? miniseries.
Oh, yeah.
So back in the day, they were called
Like the Winds of
miniseries,
War.
right? Yeah. Like that's exactly right. Who's that British actor that was
Jane
in
Seymour.
Jane Seymour was in a lot of them, and
The Thornbirds.
Thornbirds. Who's that?
Richard
Chamberlain.
Richard Chamberlain, yeah.
Yes.
And Jacqueline Smith was in a bunch of them.
Yeah. And then of course Roots was the original, like really the original, I think. I don't know if those other things
I think
came
it was,
before
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I don't know when it's coming out. I don't know any more details, but I was able to jump in the same capacity. And on this, where Jack A. Harry is this really, she's this retired professor of criminology, and her daughter is a detective, and they work on three different movies, work on three different crimes together.
Wow.
A lady detective. I love a lady detective.
You do.
Yeah. So I think that stemmed out of the fact that Keeping Up with the Joneses is just so popular. And I don't know, I haven't gotten any word, but I'm quite sure that we'll come back for another season of Keeping Up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
Well, Meredith.
Yes.
I was talking to you both before we started. And like I said, I will repeat it for our listeners. This show has me all over it. And as I was watching it, I was like, why am I not watching this show? And I immediately did the double dot so I could get it when it first comes out.
Yeah.
No, it's I'm a fan.
It's very, and you should go back and start with season 1 and go through it. And then you can admire and be like, oh, wow, season 2, I can just really see Meredith's stamp on it.
I think a second unit shot was the one shot of Eric Roberts where he's standing there eating a toothpick. Was that a shot?
I didn't do that of Eric Roberts. I love that, though. I didn't do any. That's hilarious. I actually never worked a day I've worked with Eric, but in front of the camera, in Killer Advice, but I didn't on the Joneses. I never shot with Eric. I was never there the same day as Eric.
But yeah, the show, it's definitely has like an 80s nighttime soap feel to it because it reminded me of Dynasty.
Absolutely. It's like Black Dynasty or something, right?
I love that it had that 80s feel. They were definitely trying to invoke Dynasty while at the same time being sort of like a Real Housewives kind of delivery device of that kind of show.
And the war, I mean, I have to tell you, I'd have to go back and watch season 1 because I just like I said, I came in for one episode, but it's the same wardrobe woman, so I think I can probably say yes. Like the makeup and wardrobe on season 2 is just so stunning. It's I love it. I love it.
And and once we start talking about the episode, I have a theory, and it's actually my theory. It's not a spoiler. But I have a theory. Well, I will let you know what my theory is when we get to that part.
Awesome.
But before we start talking about the show, do we have any Black China news?
Doing a piece of China.
China.
I'm talking China.
The Black China Report. Here's Kurt Fitzpatrick.
Yes, this is from E! News. Through all the drama, Black China's focus has remained on her kids. During an exclusive interview with E! News, the 34-year-old gave a rare update on her 9-year-old son, King Cairo, with ex Tyga, and her 5-year-old daughter, Dream, with ex Rob Kardashian. She's good, she said at the Atimore, I don't speak French very well, Atimore magazine's Essence issue cover launch June 23rd, about a month ago. But anyway, she says, King is good too. And with Dream headed to kindergarten this fall and King already in elementary school, she admitted it's going to be a lot of early mornings, even earlier than now. Not that she's complaining. I love my kids unconditionally, she raved, and that's just a given for me. That's just honestly it. However, Dream and King aren't her only babies. She's also focused on building her empire. This summer, I'm making music, she told E! Obviously focusing on the next things that I'm doing, which is scripted television, movies, and just being creative, especially now that perhaps her courtroom battle is behind her. Last month, a verdict was reached in China's defamation lawsuit against members of the Kardashian-Jenner family, including Kim, Khloe, Kylie, Kris Jenner. On May 2nd, a couple months back, the jury found that the family did not unjustly harm China's career. However, her attorney, Lin Chiani, told reporters she plans to appeal the decision. Separately, on June 20th, China and Rob settled their revenge porn lawsuit out of court. Fans will likely see some of China and Rob's legal drama play out on the next season of Hulu's The Kardashians. We weren't filming it, executive producer Danielle King recently shared on Deadline's Crew Call podcast with Anthony DeSalandro. I think I said that. We just got snippets along the way, and it ended up unfolding into this really compelling story. And that's the Black China news for today.
Well, first of all, I am so excited that Dream is going to school because I cannot wait for the reports on what Black China wore for the carpool line, or what she wore when she went to go pick up Dream from school, or what she wore to the PTA meeting. So this is good news.
Yes, a wealth of material.
During this report, I was fascinated watching Meredith because I was watching Meredith's face as she's trying to take in all of it. Because in the Blac Chyna stories, it's never just the story. They always recap like 5 other stories about things that have happened to her in the past. And it's just watching you do sort of the, like, you know, in a movie where like the guy has a manifesto and there's like the strings on the wall. You were trying to like piece all the elements of the Blac Chyna story together so it made sense.
I was afraid to observe Meredith's reaction to the story, so I had everybody's face blocked out. I just had a picture of. Otherwise, I don't know if I would have been able to get through it. It would have been hard. I imagine there'd be a look of shock of some kind.
Oh, and Kurt, you forgot to close your report with what you told us you were going to do.
That's right. Let me do it. Courage.
Thank you.
That's how Dan Rather used to end his news reports, so I want to end the Blac Chyna reports with that. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm happy you reminded me. I forgot about that.
Well, let's talk about our movie, Keeping Up with the Joneses. And this episode, since it is an episodic thing, is The Wrong Nemesis. Now, what I liked is right off the bat, they literally give you a rundown on who's who.
Yes.
Which was very helpful to me.
Do you know who was doing the narration, Les?
Who?
Candy Burris.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Who's that?
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Candy Burris is from The Real Housewives of Atlanta, one of my shows.
How was I supposed to know that? Okay, that's fine.
I did not know that. And I knew the voice sounded familiar, that's the thing. But I couldn't place it, and I thought it was just one of, you know how like there are a few people that just do voiceovers for everything? I thought it was one of those people. But, where do I start?
How about the beginning?
So the opening also fills us in about the charity event that they were having, the Joneses. And basically, it's Vivica is like the stepmom to them, right?
Yes, she's the stepmom. She was married to their dad.
Okay, because at one point, which I will get to, a line was, something happened and I was like, okay, she's got to be the stepmother. Because there was a child at one point and I'm like, wait. And then I figured, she's the stepmom, not their biological mom.
Yes.
There's no way chronologically that would be physically possible.
Oh, to be all of their moms.
Right?
Yeah.
And so
she and the oldest sister, or Pam, seem to have like more of a sisterly relationship. It feels like, and as as you watch on this season, you'll see that evolve a little more.
And Vivica's name was Robin.
Yes.
So we find out that Robin is a widow, but Robin is not sad about it.
No, she's waiting for a body.
Right. Yeah. But in true soap fashion, there was no body. Because on soap operas, people, there's a lot of times, you fall over a cliff, your car explodes, you go over a waterfall, and, they don't always find your body.
How do you end up going over a waterfall?
Okay.
Can you see it coming?
So did
they used to do that in cartoons a lot, like Looney Tunes? That people would put themselves in like a barrel and then jump in a waterfall.
Yeah. But people did that. People have really done that at Niagara Falls too.
And on One Life to Live, so Tina Lord was this character, and she was kidnapped, and she was pregnant, and she was tied up, and they accidentally let go of her canoe, and she went over the waterfall and had the baby. And they didn't find her for like 5 months.
Wow.
Did she have
the baby as a result of going over the waterfall?
Yes, it was in the Iguazu Falls in South America, and they found her in the jungle, fully made up with a baby.
Oh my gosh!
So what happened?
You're much more savvy to this stuff than me. I didn't even think about the fact that the no body, and I'm like obsessed with true crime, like Dateline, and so I didn't even think about the no body thing.
But in real life, who was it? Wasn't it like, I want to say like Olivia Newton-John?
It was Olivia Newton-John.
Someone like that.
Oh yeah. Her
husband.
Did they ever find that guy? He just like
magically reappeared.
Yeah,
like a couple years later.
He was like, "Divorce is so messy. Let me just fake my death."
Yeah.
Oh,
so it does happen.
Yeah. He wasn't the one. She wasn't the one that he wanted.
No.
Nice.
See, Meredith knows.
Funny.
All right, thank you everyone for listening.
We're off to a good start. I like it.
So I guess it's one of the sisters. I think it's one of the sisters is talking to the youngest sister. Robin is talking to Taylor, who's the youngest out of everybody, and she's asking her about school.
Wait, what's that? What's the name?
Was Robin?
Tara.
What, Tara? Tara.
Yeah. What did he say?
I said Taylor, so it's Tara.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Well, and just I was watching this at like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Well,
so
we've also
I just
skipped.
thought I was wrong. Like I was like, I could be confused. Yeah.
We skipped the very, very beginning of the movie, which is important. It does come in handy later.
What did we skip?
Well, the movie opened on there's like a cleaning crew at Jones Enterprises, and there's a woman that like her cleaning crew member Oscar is like, oh, don't stay too late. And then the woman swaps clothes with this very attractive black woman in a black hoodie. Yes, Lifetime.
Yeah.
And so the black woman goes snooping through the office, Les, and she's got
Wait
some.
a minute. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes, she did. She went, okay. I can't believe I forgot about that
Yeah.
part. Because I was very impressed by that act.
Oh, and she was fat, and she had like these amazing nails as she's snapping all her photos. She gets some files, and she exits. And so now we've jumped ahead to being at the mansion.
And we have not seen the last of her.
No.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Oh, so then one of the sisters, Carrie, comes in with her hot husband, Lance. And
they're not married.
Oh, they're a couple, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because
this is at the big party, the big charity event.
Oh, the big charity event. Yeah. Didn't that look gorgeous?
Yeah. This is where we meet.
Was that one
no,
of
this
yours?
is where we meet Michael Pare, right?
Yes. But what was he in? Oh, he was
Eddie and the Cruisers.
Eddie and the Cruisers.
Movie Streets of Fire
Yeah, he was in that.
Yeah.
with Diane Lane.
I also I starred with him in A Christmas in Royal Fashion.
Oh, okay.
And the director at the last at the last minute wrote that we became a couple. I didn't see that coming, but until I saw the premiere, and I was like, oh, I ended up with Michael. Okay.
Oh, nice. It's weird saying he looks good, but it's always weird. I know he's done a lot of movies, but they've been sort of like B movies mostly, I think. So it is weird seeing somebody after you haven't seen someone since Eddie and the Cruisers.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, I wonder if he took a break.
No, I think he works, but he's been in like other like straight to VHS movies and also like all that kind of stuff over the years. He's always working. He's getting his health insurance.
Yeah.
See, that's what he's doing, and that's very important.
He's street. I think, that's funny that you meant. Yeah, I think that like our Lifetime movies are the new straight to VHS, type of thing.
I don't know.
No,
Lifetime movies are good.
Oh, okay. And the straight to VHS weren't. I don't think I ever really watched any straight to VHS. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, no. A lot of the straight to VHS were not so good. Lifetime movies are actually enjoyable to watch.
Okay.
There's the one where Whoopi Goldberg is a cop and her partner is a dinosaur.
I think that was released in the theater.
I think that was a straight to video.
No, I think that was released in the theater, Kurt, because that was kind of at the height of her stardom.
Oh,
and
no.
wasn't
it T-Rex or something?
Yeah, Theodore's Rex. Something like
it
that.
wasn't special effects.
No, it wasn't CGI. It was a guy walking around.
It was really, in a dinosaur suit like Barney?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, Whoopi Goldberg went through a phase where she did movies.
She did it because Kim Basinger was supposed to be in this movie called Boxing Helena, and she committed to it. And then she rejected it, and they sued her. They successfully sued her. I think they got settled out of court. And so Whoopi, on the heels of that, Whoopi had committed to this Theodore Rex movie at some point, and so she had to do it. She said, "I want to get sued."
Oh my gosh!
She did this movie where she said she just got an Oscar for Ghost, and now she's in this movie with.
Oh no!
Oh, poor Whoopi.
That's awful. Theodore Rex.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, so Carrie, who's dating Lance,
right,
told Lance what's going on in the family and their different plans, and Robin is not happy about this because I guess in a previous episode, Lance's father tried to have him killed, and so Robin's like, I don't know if it's safe to tell him all this stuff because his dad just tried to have him killed, so you don't know. This might not be safe to tell him this stuff.
And am I following the story correctly that Lance's dad was married to Robin?
Yes.
Okay. Because I didn't. That wasn't clear at first, and then as the movie progressed,
Lance's dad is Robin's late husband.
Yeah, but Robin's late husband is not the Theodore Jones.
Not Theodore Jones. So it's
So Robin married Lance's dad after Theodore.
Rex.
Got it. Yes.
Which she calls him Theodore next.
Yeah. Oh, there.
Nice.
You are on fire today.
Meredith's on fire.
Great marketing copy for us.
This is fantastic. I love this. Okay.
So Carrie makes an announcement about the charity, and then Lifetime has thrown in a wrench. Lifetime is changing it up because then we see a woman not in a black hoodie, she's in a gray hoodie. And I was like, what is up, Lifetime? Go on. So then
it's warm sunshine of California. The black, it's not real cooling.
Right?
Yeah, so you need a lighter shade for the outdoors.
And unlike the black hoodie people we normally see, this was the second time that we actually saw her face. And so that so that's how beautiful she was. They're like, we're not even going to cover her face with a gray hoodie. We're going to show it. Mm-hmm. So then Robin and Sheldon, he's their lawyer, right, Meredith?
Yes,
So
he's a longtime family lawyer.
Okay, because Robin and Sheldon are talking, and Sheldon is like, he's not approving of the charity because he's like, look, your husband, he hasn't been officially declared dead, and we haven't found a body. So you need to cool your jets. But Robin is like, nope, I know what I'm doing. And then the next scene, we're at the police department, and then the police captain pops up, and I'm like, Leslie, Leslie K. A few months ago, Jason and I went to an event that Meredith was one of the hosts of, and so we met, and we actually talked about it. We met a lot of the different cast members, and Leslie was one of the people who I met that night. So I was like, oh, Leslie.
Yeah, Leslie's awesome.
By the way, we didn't mention the name of the charity, Les.
Oh. The name of the charity was, and I wrote it down. It was...
Do you want me to give it to you? I think isn't the Crystal Water Fund?
It was the Crystal Water Fund.
Okay.
And I would posit that was 100% a pure inside joke amongst the writers of the movie. Crystal there is a singer from the 90s named Crystal Waters, and her big hit was 100% Pure Love.
Oh, I never knew that. But you know, but there's Crystal as one of the characters, so I just thought that was, but that's smart.
Well, I'm sure they took Crystal and then it was a water fund anyway. It's Crystal Waters.
Yeah, Crystal Waters.
And Crystal Waters was the one that sang the song "He's Homeless." La da dee, la da da.
Oh, that's her song.
Yeah, Gypsy. She has two big hits: "Gypsy Woman," the one Les was singing, and 100% Pure Love.
Interesting.
Oh, she does Pure Love. I'm talking about that pure love. That's a song.
No.
That's
Come
Jody
back to the
Watt.
middle and around again. I'm gonna run 100%.
Oh, I know that song too.
So after Leslie's scene, the narrator comes back, and I'm loving the narrator, loving it. And then, so who used the term OPM, other people's money?
Pam.
Because I wrote that down, like, we need to use that from now on.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome.
So then, did I skip anything? Did I miss anything?
At this point, I wrote that Vivica was wearing a snakeskin. She was wearing like a shirt or something that was snakeskin outfit. So I thought that was cool. That's what it looked like to me.
So then Carrie and Lance are talking.
It's in my notes. It's got to be real.
I like it as a character choice too, because because now we're starting to see sort of the shark of a businesswoman she can be, and so
I was thinking because I was trying to remember. I mean, she just has her outfits are so phenomenal. I was trying to remember the snakeskin. I can't get over the jumpsuit, and maybe we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but anyway.
So then Lance and Carrie are talking as well, and Carrie is like, she's telling Lance, like, the price of water, you really can't, water is one thing you can't, it's an unbeatable resource, and then we cut to a college. We cut to Pacific College, where there's a classroom, and the teacher is teaching, and I knew this man was trouble, and he's making goo-goo eyes at Tara. And so...
He was really hot, by the way.
Yeah, very hot.
I was like, this man's trouble.
Yeah.
I knew. From right off the bat.
You knew, yeah. You knew there was going to be some hot for teacher action going on there.
And then when he was like, can you stay after class, please? And so... he then starts like asking her questions, but you could tell he's like trying to pump her from her information. And then he was like, I guess she had turned in this assignment, and this is a community college that she was going to, but her assignment, at first it was so well written that he was questioning whether or not she plagiarized it. And then he said he went back and looked at her transcripts and found out that she went to a very, very ritzy private school.
Yeah, he basically calls her out and says, is this where he calls her out for like knowing who her family is? Or did he not know at this point?
He didn't admit to it yet.
Okay.
He knew.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, he was sort of questioning, why is this person who I know is famous in my class and that has so much money, why is she going to a community college?
Right. And so and then he asks her out. So, and she's like, she's a savvy woman, so she's kind of like, I know where this is going. And she didn't mind.
She told him to meet her at a machine shop.
No, that's the name of the bar.
Oh.
Yeah, they didn't actually meet.
I wrote that in my notes. I'm like, what's going on there? What kind of seedy life does she have on the side?
Oh my.
I'm doing a shift tonight.
That's funny. So then they're at the bar.
Well, wait. First, before we see them at the bar, we see these other two people at the bar, right?
Yeah.
So who's the guy talking? Because I know the guy's talking about he tried to capture Santa Claus when he was 18.
Oh, I think that's supposed to be a bat. Okay, so that's a different bar, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's a different bar.
Yeah.
That was at the Canyon Club.
That's just to illustrate the bad date that that sister is on. What's her name?
Tara?
Sister we haven't mentioned yet.
Kayla?
Kayla, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was to illustrate that the bad date that she's on, because she's still got a thing for her ex.
And so she's like, I don't have any embarrassing memories, and the guy's like, you're not telling me anything about yourself, and I wrote, be careful, girl. He's trying to shake you down for info.
Mm.
And so then he calls her family crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he calls them crazy bitches.
Yes.
She doesn't she slaps them in the face.
Yeah, good slap,
Right.
too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very, very housewives, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we cut back to the teacher who's having drinks with Tara. And
At the machine shop.
Yeah, at the machine shop.
Yeah.
I was like, does she have a secret life where she's trying to...
I have to admit, and I'm laughing about it, because when I saw my day of days, when I got my things, and I was looking at that, I thought the same thing. I was like, and I think I said something to Wardrobe. I was like, so machine, what are people going to be wearing at the machine shop? And then, so I didn't realize that was the trendy bar either at first. So Jason, I was right there with you.
I created one of two stories in my head. Either she was sort of rejecting her family money and wanted to live a real life, so she was welding on the side. That's one version. And the other version is she's got this dark life where maybe she's doing drugs and stuff. So she's that's where they do the deal or something.
Well, she does have that, in season 1, she does have this dark life, that she, but that's not, but this is not. The third version was that she just kills her teacher at the machine shop.
Yeah. Oh, there's that too. Yeah. So there was no welding then.
No.
Okay.
She's very practical, though. She's learning welding, going to community college. Good for her.
Right.
Half of this is true.
So then they're having drinks, but then they end up back at his place.
Mm.
And then after they do the deed, then he's like, oh, by the way, I know who you are. I know about your family. And we should work together. And she's like, how dare you?
Well, I would wait also before giving that news, before admitting that. Well, I don't know. No, this is unethical.
It's not the best pillow talk.
No.
Yeah.
It seems also just career suicide. If you're going to try and take advantage of your student, you probably shouldn't reveal those plans after you did something really unethical and slept with her.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I don't. Yeah, he obviously his sense, he doesn't have good sense, and to begin with, if you're sleeping with your student.
Right. And so Tara, though, is repulsed by the fact that he hit her up for work. And so that was that. Then we cut to Eric Roberts. His name is Leo, right?
Yes.
So we cut to Leo, and Leo is talking to Pam about her dad.
Yeah, Leo worked, seemingly was either on city council or somehow worked with permitting for new construction in the city. Like, he had some pull when it came to permits.
He works for the city, yeah.
And while this is going on, our hoodie friend is spying. But I don't think she has a hoodie on anymore. But she's spying.
Well, it's hot out. She changed to the Heather one that wasn't cool enough, so now she's like, I'm just wearing a tank top.
I have to call out Eric Roberts a little bit. That scene at the very end of it, he's supposed to be talking to a waiter, and there's no waiter there. He's just kind of talking to the edge of the screen. I mean, it works.
So the next scene.
Well, nobody was helping me out with that. They're just leaving me hanging to dry.
I didn't. How could you tell there was no waiter?
Because there's nobody on the screen. He was just kind of looking. He was like looking at the menu, and he's saying, "I'd like the whatever it is." I could see there wasn't anybody else there.
In Eric Roberts' defense, I've been to a restaurant sometimes where I have a menu here, but the specials are in like sort of a weird angle. You have to like kind of turn around and see because you're like, wait, what were the specials? Oh, they're written on the wall. Okay, and he's kind of looking. So maybe he was like trying to decide between like the cod and the soup of the day.
Okay.
That's nice to defend. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that. I missed that. I didn't see that.
Well, it's not a big deal. I just I have to find little oddities in here to bring up. That's all.
Kurt just wants to ensure that Eric Roberts is going to get food.
So okay. I wrote here Lance was visiting Miss Jones, but I forgot to write which Jones. Robin, because she asked, Lance, are you still in pain? So once again, Lance getting stabbed pops up. Mm-hmm. And her father, or the father, sounded like a piece of work, basically. And who was cut out of, so Lance was cut out of the will then, right?
Yeah, if he stabbed his son, he definitely is a piece of work.
Right?
Yeah.
So then Robin is sticking by her ID, sticking by the whole water thing. That's like, I'm not budging on this. It was a good idea. Then we cut to a farm. And so, we cut to a farm. And they meet up with this mayor, but the mayor's like young.
Yeah, what's a small city? Santa Annabelle.
Right.
Yeah, but like
kind of attractive.
If it wasn't clear before now, basically, like Robin's company is going to try and buy up land so that they control the water rights, and that's going to be able to drive. And then they're going to be able to buy futures on the water, and basically, that's going to drive the price up. It's similar to how gas is priced. Prices don't go up based on actual barrels; they go up based on what the futures say the barrels are going to be worth down the line.
Right. So then we cut to a bar, and Kayla's at the bar, and this guy sends her a drink and through the bartender, and then she sends the drink back via the bartender, and he sends the drink back to her.
Right. He says, she looks especially thirsty.
And that's all it took.
I know this guy, by the way, Sam Schweikert.
Yeah? You know the bartender?
No, not the bartender. The guy that ends up hitting on Tara.
Oh, yeah.
Or not Tara, Kayla. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
How do you know Sam?
I helped back when I was still acting. This is probably like 9-10 years ago. I helped out a friend that was filming something for the LA Gay and Lesbian Center, some like shorts that they were doing, and Sam was just like a crew guy. He was like a PA. I think it was like he had just moved to LA.
Oh wow,
that's funny.
I'm watching the movie. I'm like, this guy looks familiar. Why do I know this guy's face? I don't. And I finally looked at the credits. I'm like, oh my god, it's Sam.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's hanging out there because his condo is being painted.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, they're at somebody's home. I don't know whose it was. I thought maybe it was his, and I was like, oh no, is the paint still wet, or are they inhaling fumes, or what's happening here? But he was not. He was at her place.
He was at Kayla's
Yes.
place. Yeah.
And then I knew it was trouble when he got right up and did something on his phone. I was like, uh-oh. Because he did it, and he did it very briefly, and he goes back to bed. And then
He was snapping photos of her while she's laying there.
that's later.
Oh, okay.
That's later.
But-
Because first he did it and then went back to bed. Because remember, he's like, I don't want this to be a one-night stand.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
she went to sleep, and then he started snapping photos of her.
With his sound on. Look.
Yeah.
Look. I will cut you a lot of slack, Lifetime or any movie, but when you've got somebody snapping photos on the DL, turn off your sound.
So then he takes the pictures and then makes a phone call. I got what I need. And he's like, I'll be seeing you soon. So I have a question. So then there's a new character named Stephen Napoli, and he went to visit Pam. Now, has he been on the show before? Do he and Pam have a thing?
No, this was he. I'm pretty sure he's new this season.
Well, he and Pam have good chemistry.
Yes, they do. We have to remember that I've seen the rest of them, so I'm going to hold back on some of my comments. But yes, they do have good chemistry.
And it does seem as if there is a history there between them. It's hinted that there is.
You guys might have caught more than me. I just on that, but yeah. So he's Steven, yeah.
So they were talking / vibing, and then he was also kind of like, be careful about this water thing. Then we cut to Tara, and she's still pissed about the teacher, what the teacher did.
She should be.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So then Carrie was meeting with Sheldon, right?
Yes. Carrie and Lance are meeting with Sheldon.
Okay, and he was instructed to release the funds, but he would I think, and this whole time he's been kind of like, you guys all need to kind of chill out about this. Don't rush into anything. But they demanded that he release the funds. And so then Sheldon calls Robin and is like, listen, Robin, everyone's, you all need to chill because you guys are chomping at the bit. And then he reiterates once again, you're not officially widowed yet. They haven't found a body. Hint, wink, wink, hint, hint. And so then Robin asks Sheldon what's the issue, right? Or does Sheldon ask Robin?
Well, they both meet up, and Sheldon says something along the lines of, unlike Lance having access to family money, he's not family.
Okay, because that was in my notes that I wrote, I don't trust Lance, but I was trying to remember who said it. Because one of them were like, that, okay, so it's him. So then we are at the opening of the like an opening ceremony,
like a groundbreaking.
Yeah. What did you call it?
Groundbreaking.
A groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Everybody's there. Eric Roberts is there.
I love this because I'm not being critical, but the way they shot this, you never see a wide shot. So I don't think any of these people were in the same place at the same time. They got Eric Roberts there, standing there eating a toothpick. Then you got four sisters and Vivica. Then I think another group, You had Steven.
Don't forget the construction crew. Yep.
Yeah. And it went from like shot to shot to shot to shot. It worked.
I'm gonna plead the fifth on that.
Okay.
I don't think they were in the same room. Outside at the same time.
I'll say that they weren't in the same room because they were outdoors.
I just corrected myself.
Yes, you're right. They were outdoors.
So they're having the groundbreaking ceremony, and then all of a sudden, someone in a black hoodie. There are a lot of black hoodies this episode.
The wardrobe budget didn't all just go to Vivica's dresses. There are multiple hoodies.
But this person wasn't an attractive woman, so his face was covered by his hoodie. And so he's taking pictures. And then we find out that Pam and Steven, they were talking about how much they hate Leo, Eric Roberts' character. And then Pam asks Steven for a drink. And so then they're having like a family meeting. So is this a regular part of the series too? Like, is like every episode they have a family meeting?
They have. I mean, yeah. I guess. I guess they do it in every episode. But it's the matriarch and the daughters. So
this is how
they run a company together. So they need a lot of meetings.
This is what I meant by it. There feels like there's a hint of housewives in the DNA of this, because that seems like a housewives thing. They always gather them and have some scene of them just like all sort of talking about their other storylines.
Right. Because one of them, because Kayla's like, I met someone, and they were kind of giving a rundown on what was going on and catching everybody else up. And so then we go back to the captain, the police captain, Leslie, and basically her deputy's giving her a rundown on what's happening, and there's not a lot going on in this town. They're talking about, teenagers leaving empty beer bottles and condom wrappers around.
Oh, well, that is a problem.
And she's just like going down her list, and she's like, is that it? And then the deputy mentions the thing about the Joneses. So then we see the guy with who hooked up with Kayla, and he goes to this old motel, and so there's a money envelope switch, and so we have a new character. But had he been in other episodes?
William, right?
William is the ex-boyfriend. Yes, yeah. William is all through. That's Kayla's ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk of Kayla's last boyfriend not being trustworthy. Like when she told her family that she met this new guy, they were ecstatic, like she had never met a man before.
So they gave the whole rundown of things, and an envelope of money was exchanged, which always happens in these scenes. And there's something that I've noticed is a Lifetime trope that I've never noticed before. Whenever they do a scene where someone is getting paid off for doing something nefarious, they always look in the envelope, and they're always like, that's not the amount that we settled on. And then the other person's like, that's all you're going to get. Get out of here.
I'm going to look for that. There's certain things that I watch for. I guess that is kind of like, but I think that's always the cliche when you exchange money. You count it, and
like anyone who's ever sold anything on Craigslist knows that person shows up and acts like they didn't bring the amount of money that you had told them was a hard price.
That is so true. You always have to, like, if they wanted 100, you only have 90 in your wallet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then we find out that the water company is being targeted by eco-terrorists. And I was like, that's very timely in 2022.
Yeah.
Eco-terrorism.
Yeah.
Yeah, they spray painted Mother Earth on it. That's There's
Yeah,
suspicious of this Mother Earth.
Yeah, this Mother Earth sect.
Right, like this gang, which I mean, think about it though. It's like, ooh, Mother Earth is gonna get you. Oh yeah, that's so scary.
Well, Mother Earth is gonna get us eventually.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it sounds like she started in the UK. It was hotter in the UK last week than it was here.
Oh my gosh, crazy.
Isn't that insane? Oh
Yeah.
So then Pam is in her office doing her work, minding her own business, and then the beautiful woman who was in the various hoodies, shows up, and she has a British accent, and she pulls out the one, I'd say in the soap tropes, the number one soap trope, I am your long lost daughter.
I'm your daughter. Yeah.
So
I was thinking, well, she must have known she had a daughter, right?
Well, yeah. But this...
It's not the same. Yeah,
it's different when you walk in and tell it to a guy.
Usually the women, exactly. Usually the women have some idea.
Yeah. Usually they do.
So this... right?
Yeah, you got a heads up.
Yeah.
So this is my theory. And I might be totally wrong. Like I said, it's just a theory. It's not a spoiler. My theory is that Tara is going to turn out to be her daughter.
Her sister.
Well, but.
I mean, yes, that is very common. Yes,
Right.
yes. It's very common to raise a youngest daughter, to raise a... yes, that's very common. That's a very interesting theory.
Because on Another World, it happened, and not only did Marley find out that Donna was her sister, she also found out that she had an evil twin. So it happened.
Yeah. Well, you know, Jack Nicholson was raised as his sister's. He was raised as a brother to his mother.
I heard about that.
And the sad thing is that it was outed. It was outed by some reporter, you know, and I believe his sister / mother had already passed away, so he could never really come to terms with her over this, you know. But that was very common practice when a woman got impregnated before and probably in the times when abortion wasn't legal, you know, what are we going to do? Anyway, not to get too political here.
But the thing is, though, so Pam is kind of confused by it. So my thought is that Pam didn't see the baby when the baby was born, and the dad did something, and then maybe sent the kid away, and then brought the daughter back later, saying, "This is your little sister. We've adopted her," or whatever. But it turns out to be her daughter.
That's a very interesting theory.
But you know, I
like that theory.
I was just enjoying this so
obviously,
much.
I'm not going to expand on it, but I think that's a very interesting theory.
Because I was just enjoying it. It was getting me in just 80s soap mode. So I was like, oh, that's what they would do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow.
He knows every nook and cranny of these shows that I would never watch.
And the long lost child is always British.
Yeah, they were always raised with a different kind of education and different kind of worldview.
And then, of course, her name was Eve, and I'm like, figures it's Eve. Yeah, this is right on track. Because they're always named Eve or you know. So then we go to the crystal water. Well,
so then Pam rushes in to talk to Sheldon. And he's like, hey, this was supposed to have been covered up a long time ago. How does this girl know who I am?
Right. So then we go to, we see Steven, and he's talking to these protesters.
Oh, yeah.
From Mother Earth.
Yeah.
I wrote Ryan Gosling and Meg Tilly.
He did look like Ryan
Yeah, a
Gosling.
little bit, yeah.
You remember Meg Tilly?
Yeah.
Well,
Sort of
she
looked
was
like her.
in one of the Lifetime movies we saw recently.
She's in mine. She's in The Wrong Blind Date.
Okay, she plays the woman
She's-
that owns that house.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I knew I recognized her.
Oh, wait a minute. We met her.
No,
Jason?
she wasn't at the screening.
Okay, because I remember we met someone. Okay, because we met someone. Anyway, so she's a spy basically, and so she goes to Sheldon. No, to Steven, right? Was it Steven or Sheldon that like hired her?
Steven hired her.
Stephen Anopoli.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah,
Steven, the guy that
Steven,
owns the construction company.
The construction guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because she goes to Steven, because Steven, like, gives him a shakedown, then Steven leaves. She goes to meet up with Steven later, and she's like, it's not him, because what was done just that's not his style. And so, and then she commented that they're also sexist.
Well, and also they make a few people make a good point that, you know, if you're going to do damage to something, you're not going to spray paint like your name and I did this, you know? Because they spray painted Mother Earth.
Oh yeah, you're
Mother
not gonna...
Earth did this. It was us.
Although people do tag things with their gang, you know, so
That's true.
But
Yeah,
you're
I guess so.
right. You're right. That does seem like a red herring.
But I did love her mentioning like how sexist they were. Like she's like, they don't think a woman is smart enough to betray them.
Oh yeah.
Spying on eco-terrorists is normally a man's job, a man's world.
Yeah.
The boys' club.
Yeah, it's the one thing women have been breaking.
Oh, come on. Mother Earth, you guys. Mother Earth.
Right.
Another red herring.
Right. But I love that though, that like that she turned out to be a spy. That she turned out to be a spy.
I think she was probably a spy in The Wrong Blind Date, too.
Ooh.
Typecast.
Because she was, yeah.
She had a lot of information that she
She knew a
espoused
lot,
in a
and
short
she
time.
was not a fan.
Oh, I remember who she is now.
She was not a fan
Right.
of my Wrong Blind Date.
Yeah.
I
She knew a
remember who
lot.
she was now. Because she got killed, right?
I don't think she did.
No, she didn't get killed.
No.
She was the landlady of the place that he was pretending to live in.
Oh, when she
But he was
okay.
just a...
And you could
This
tell,
damn
like,
guy.
you could tell that she didn't like him by all of her answers. Like, she was
Yeah.
just so annoyed
She
with him as a
really-
tenant.
She really did not like him. So she probably knew. She might have been a spy in The Wrong Blind Date too.
That's right. She's the one I.
And you
I
guys are
have people over.
sexist. And you guys are sexist because you didn't think the landlady could be the spy.
Yeah.
I didn't
That's
say
fair. That's fair.
So then we find out that Leo is in cahoots with Lance. And so Leo is up to no good.
Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah.
So
He looks
then,
shady.
and then we see Steven, and he's talking to Pam, and he's like, "Don't worry, Pam. We've got someone on the inside who's like, you know, doing our spying, and we're gonna get to the bottom of this. We have someone on the inside."
Mm-hmm.
And then we see a private jet, and someone's on a private jet, and it's a mystery person. And we then, at the end, it pans up, and who is it? It's Ted McGinley.
Yes.
He's the body we haven't, guys. He's the body we haven't found.
So that's the husband.
Yes.
How many times was she married?
I think only 2 from what I can, but I don't know. But she's the second wife of
Theodore.
The guy who had all the, that had all the daughters, obviously. Maybe more, I don't know. So I think it's only 2 times. So what's Ted McGinley's big? Is that Married with Children?
He's been in every like in the 70s and 80s. Ted McGinley was in
before Married with Children. Ted he had a bit of a reputation as a show killer because he would join shows late in their run, and then the show would get canceled the last season. Like he was on the last season of Happy Days. He was on the last season of The Love Boat.
Yeah, that's right. He was Ace. He was Ace on Love Boat.
So he was like, before Married with Children, he was like the actor equivalent of Jumping the Shark.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's where,
But guess what? Not on our series.
Yeah.
Not on our series.
He broke the streak.
the curse is broken.
Well, he's not only is he not a show killer, he's come back from the dead.
Yes. Yeah. He's a show liver.
Yeah.
So I guess I didn't. I mean, I knew he'd been on everything, but I guess I only remember him. He was so great as the neighbor on Married with Children.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was funny because starting with Happy Days, like everything, that would mean like the season's white.
Who did he play on Happy Days?
Was it Roger?
He was Roger. So basically, Ron Howard had left the show, and they needed sort of a youngish, straight-laced guy to be like the opposite to Fonzie and be his friend. So Roger was like the cousin that came and lived with the Cunninghams and would hang out with Fonzie.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Because they would always, they'd always like Cousin Oliver on the Brady Bunch that last season.
That's funny. Oh, that's funny.
And Meredith, I immediately went and found the next episode. So,
because you had to know, you had to be sure that we weren't canceled.
No, this is officially one of my shows. I love this. I'm serious. I love this show so much. It's on my roster now.
You gotta go back though, and you gotta start with season 1.
Oh, I'm going on the road soon, and we'll have a lot of downtime. So
okay.
I will. And I have the Lifetime app. Wink, wink. So I'll do that on my downtime.
That's awesome. Yeah. So just so you follow, just so you can keep up. I know it'll be weird to have seen that and go back, but but it's not that weird. I mean, you'll get it. Yeah.
So is it literally just like 4 or 5 episodes a season?
So last season started with 3, and I think it was such a success that they did. They shot 4 this season. So maybe I'm hoping that it'll be another 4 next season.
Yeah.
Because it's a good show. It's very interesting.
It's fun. I mean, we just had this. We had this really Vivica with Lifetime Movie Network. Put together this really fun screening. We screened season 2, episode 3, which actually has aired last Friday. But and it was so fun, and just to see people but yeah, I think that I'm hoping the audience seems very invested in it, and I'm hoping that that will come back. I don't know. I know nothing about if they are, but I hope they are.
I mean, it seems.
So.
Oh, go ahead, Kurt. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I didn't say anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. It seems like it's tailor made for fans of Lifetime. It checks all the boxes and adds a few new boxes that you didn't even know that you needed.
Well, it's interesting because I feel like some people really love it. Like they can't wait and they're like next week. And then there's some more traditional Lifetime fans that are like, they kind of like the one-offs. Like they want it, they understand the formula and they want it tied up. in that box.
Yeah.
So because I've met people that say both, but I think it's kind of cool to do something different like this. And I think there's enough. And Vivica has such a fan base. So, and it's yeah, I think it's fun it's like, we don't get to do that anymore. Like every Friday, like go, oh, I can't wait for next Friday, because people are always binging everything. So this is kind of fun that you actually wait for next Friday to find out what happens.
Yeah.
I television.
Yes.
I thought you guys did an incredibly good job of making the story easy to understand, even if you haven't watched the show before. So you can jump in and then go back like Les is going to do and get caught up.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Because like I said before, I loved, like, at the beginning, the voiceover, like, literally gave you the rundown of who was who, of what's going on, and I was like, that's perfect.
It was very heart to heart. Remember Max and Heart to Heart? That's my boss, Mr. Hart.
I was trying to think where that, like, because I like that too, and it, by the way, it does continue like throughout this season. Yeah. Keeping people caught up, and I couldn't think of that kind of style where I'd seen that before. So that's Heart to Heart. It's very, because it did feel very well, the Heart to Heart is what, 80s?
Yeah. I mean, they've done it on shows a lot before that too. Like
they did it too.
I mean, if you think of like the Beverly Hillbillies, it's literally the theme song explains who all these characters are and what's going on in the show.
That's so interesting. I forgot that about Desperate Housewives. That's too. But yeah, that whole, I like that. I don't even know what you call that, but I guess I should know. But
because Heart to Heart, what was it? This is Mr. H. He's my boss.
That's my boss, Mr. Hart. He's loaded.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah, that's right.
And when they met, it was murder.
I was at San Diego Pride last weekend, and I was at a party, and as I'm leaving a party, I'm like, what is this song that is set to a dance beat that all these shirtless men are dancing to? And I realized that it was a dance remix of the Heart to Heart theme.
Oh. No way.
That could work.
That sounds awesome.
Well, that was before my time.
That sounds awesome.
That was before my time, so I don't remember Heart to Heart. So. No, I do.
Stephanie, I never really watched
I know about
it much, but it was a huge show. I remember.
Oh, that. I did.
Yeah. I don't think I ever watched an episode.
I watched it only as if I could talk my parents into letting me. It was basically an excuse to stay up an extra hour later after like Three's Company and Too Close for Comfort.
Yeah. Actually, I remember when Who Shot JR was on, and I never watched the show Dallas, but I just knew this was in the zeitgeist. I was a little kid, so I just asked my dad, "Can I stay up late to watch Who Shot JR?" He just said no. So
I watched it.
I missed that part of the zeitgeist that happened. I missed television.
Yeah, I never watched any of those late night. Like I hear people talk about them, but I never watched any of those late night things. I'm more of like when Melrose Place was more of like when I would watch those kind of soapy things.
I watched them all.
Yeah.
Dallas, Dynasty,
wow.
Flamingo Road with Morgan Fairchild.
Oh my gosh.
Glitter.
Oh my.
Glitter with Nicolette Sheridan and Morgan Brittany.
Wow.
Landing.
Wow. I went to a couple of years pre-COVID. I think it was one of the last big events I went to pre-COVID. The Hollywood Museum did this whole Knots Landing. All the gals of Knots Landing were there, and they it was so cool, and they had the wardrobe. Oh my gosh. And I just 80s, I crimped my hair and 80s it up. It was so fun.
Emerald Point NAS with Jill St. John.
Oh my God, you know them all. Wow.
Deep dive. Dynasty 2, the Colbys.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You watch
yes. I never watched any of those.
I met him.
Who?
The guy that played Miles Colby. I was doing a show and I was doing a show in Ireland, and there was another American group there, and one of we all went out, and one of the women was like, I really want you to meet my parents. And I look over, and Miles Colby and Tabitha from Passions are walking in. Because he's married to Juliet Mills.
Oh yeah, what's his real name?
Maxwell.
Maxwell Caulfield.
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't know who you were talking about. And then I was like, duh, because her last name was Caulfield. I was like, oh my gosh.
That's right.
Yes, Tabitha from Passions.
Yes.
I do remember Passions.
I love Passions.
Yeah, he was the love. He was the. I just saw him. He was a presenter or something at the Santa Barbara Film Festival because he and Tabitha live out that way.
So Meredith, you want to see Kurt? You want to see Kurt go crazy?
Yes.
So Kurt, so on Passions, which was an afternoon soap.
I had a small role on Passions.
Really?
I watched Passions. Yeah. I mean,
crazy.
like one day.
Watch this, Meredith.
Okay.
So Juliet Mills on this afternoon soap played a witch.
Yes.
And then she turned a doll into a little boy named Timmy.
Yes.
And Timmy would do her bidding and do little pranks and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, it's supposed to go crazy?
What did you say?
I'm supposed to go crazy to match this, or what?
No, because Kurt, I talk about soap sometimes, and Kurt's like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, Passions was
insane.
That shit crazy.
Insane soap opera.
The doll that fell and she was cracked Connie because she had
Chucky. No, I learned my lesson. We had a woman on the show, a special guest, and Les, and she and Les were talking about these soaps, and I was like, you guys, you should be ashamed of yourself. She's like, excuse me? Even though she's not here, I know she's listening somewhere. I'm on my best behavior.
No, she likes us.
Oh, good. Okay.
Was she a soap star?
No.
She
had a soap podcast.
Oh, okay.
No, she actually wants to come back. No, she likes
good.
it.
Yeah.
Well,
anyway, Meredith, how can our listeners find you if you want to be found?
I can be found at Meredith Actress pretty much everywhere.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have anything coming up? Do you have any movies coming up?
I have a new Lifetime movie coming up, which I play this awful stage mother type of woman. But my daughter's not on stage; she's a gymnast.
Oh.
But and it's I just saw it appeared on IMDb. It's called Dying to Win. I don't think it has a date yet, but I've done I've done the ADR on it, and I shot that. It was my last project last Christmas, right before the Christmas holiday, and so that should be coming out really soon.
So, question.
Yeah.
Is it a ripped from the headlines, or is it like a murdering sort of a thing?
So it's not a rip from the headlines with some of the awful stuff that's been going on in the gymnastics world there. Okay. It's more so no, there's no based, but it does touch on all the insane influencers, social media, getting likes, being popular that way. And that's where I'm like the awful stage mother of like trying to keep her sponsorship up and getting likes and just that kind of thing. So it's timely in that way.
Do we have any new Wrong movies coming up?
No, I don't have any new Wrong movies coming up because those technically all the Keeping Up with the Joneses are, Raw/Wrong movies. So other than this, my little cameo this Friday in my Keeping Up with the Joneses, I don't have any coming up. I have the Killer. What did I say? Dying to Win.
Dying to Win.
And then I just did a rom-com, and I played the lead girl's father's new love interest, and that was super fun. That was with John Murlowski, who I've done. Who did I do? I did Stolen in Her Sleep with. Stolen in Her Sleep. That was a good. Did you guys see that? I was a grandmother in that.
I don't think so.
No,
Yeah.
we didn't see that
A
one.
hot young grandma.
John directed me in Stolen in Her Sleep. His daughter directed me, and he was the DP in If Walls Could Talk, and then Labor of Lies. So I just did a romantic comedy with John, so that was fun. I got away from like the thriller killer thing, and I think that one's going to go to Up TV. It's very Hallmark feeling.
Okay.
It's a very Hallmark feel, but I think it's going to end up at Up TV.
Well, you got to stay diversified.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
One thing I would like you to suggest to the production team on Keeping Up with the Joneses is if they are going to make them part of the wrong universe, Vivica needs to do her catchphrase in them.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
You're right. Yeah, I'm really glad that they're not. I mean, yes, they're in the wrong universe but I think that I don't want Robin saying the catchphrase.
Okay.
I would. And we're now we're 7 in, so I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen.
Then the way around this is she has to directly to camera in a promo for the movie say the catchphrase.
Right.
They could also
okay.
save it. They could also save it for the very last episode. That could be like the very last shot.
Maybe I'll suggest it if the season is not ever coming back, right?
And
And it's so you'll know,
Right.
if, season at the end of, I don't know, let's say I'm season 5. At the end of season 5, she says, "Honey, you picked the wrong miniseries."
and while we're putting in requests, we need to know the wrong commercial, the wrong.
Oh yeah.
What?
They had
what's
done a
the wrong
promo.
commercial?
They had done a promo for the wrong, a wrong marathon,
the thong
and they used the thong
song.
song. Yeah.
Yeah, I have that. Yeah, Cisco did the wrong. Yeah,
Yeah, we
I'm
need
in
another
that.
one.
That would be cool. Who should we? What we have to maybe we need to figure out who, because that was the thong song. So wrong. We need to figure out who should do the next one. What?
Isn't there a
Yeah,
song
another
called
song.
"Don't Get Me Wrong"? We could have another song and use the word "wrong" in it.
Yeah. Or let's think of things that rhyme with wrong other than thong, because we already used that.
Well,
Yes.
Jong. Is there a song about Kim Jong Il that could be?
Or, not that I know of.
like something with long in it.
Right.
Long, yeah.
Is there a song with long? A long
Bang a
song.
gong.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Bang, being wrong. There
Wrong,
you go.
wrong, wrong.
There you go.
Wrong.
And
awesome.
and you can
I
have
have
Vivica with her bat or her hockey stick, and every time she hits it, it bangs a gong.
Right.
There's I love that thong song. I never knew the thong song, and then the producers were like, "Hey," they sent me this thing, and they're like, "Hey, put this out wherever you want." And I was like, "Really? Anywhere?" And they're like, "Yeah." So I've got that on my YouTube page, the thong song, because I'm in that promo. They use a piece of me from the wrong Boy Next Door, I think. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, it's awesome. It's awesome. I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky to be a part of this wrong family.
The wrong cinematic universe.
Yeah, I love it.
Fantastic.
I'm so lucky.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I've told you guys before that when my dad calls me up, he's like, "Hey, how's the wrong car running? How's the wrong dog?"
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised if a wrong car or a wrong dog movie comes out.
Yeah. That's a good one. The wrong rescue dog.
Right?
Yeah.
they use it as a weapon or something.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
or it's like a
But there's
underground
no
fighting
wrong
dog.
rescue dogs. It would have to be the wrong. It would have to be the wrong.
The wrong service.
The wrong shelter or something, like an evil
That'd be a
person
big
working.
problem.
Oh yeah, the wrong shelter. That's right, the wrong shelter or the wrong breeder. The wrong breeder.
Yeah.
I'm a
Right.
big animal rescuer, so the wrong dog breeder.
The wrong mixed breed cat.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. The wrong meow.
Yeah.
The wrong exotic pet.
Yeah.
Actually, that would be a good one. The wrong exotic pet.
Yeah, something
Like
gets
an
eaten.
attack tiger or something.
Yeah, an iguana like eats someone's ear off.
Oh
I
my
guess I got the wrong
God.
pet.
Right. Anyway, if you want to find me, you can find me on my website, leskirkendallbarrett.com, and I have a few shows coming up. In 2 weeks, August 1st through the 14th, I'm going to be doing my show, The Real Black Swan, at the Minnesota Fringe Festival, and then on August, I believe, 18th through the 25th, I'm going to be at the Indianapolis Fringe Festival, and September 1st through 11th, I'm going to be at the Halifax Fringe Festival. So you can just look on my website and get that info. Jason.
Please, on whatever podcasting platform you're listening to us on, give us a 5-star review, rate and review us. It helps other people find the podcast. You can find all of us on Instagram and Facebook at Lifetime of Hallmark Podcast. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Big Shot Jason. Kurt.
My one-man show, The Jester of All Maladies, is also playing at the Indianapolis Fringe Festival. That's August 26th, 27th, 28th. And then I will be in the Philadelphia Fringe Festival, September 16th and September 23rd. For more details, you could go to kurtfitzpatrick.com. That's Kurt with a K.
Yay. And
Yay.
Kurt and I will be in Indianapolis at the same time, so I will be tormenting Kurt and dragging him to gay bars and a drag bar.
That's awesome.
Well, request that heart-to-heart theme.
Yes.
I have to go.
Anyway,
If you guys don't find a bit of that theme and put it in here, you have to.
It might have
Because
to do that.
I mean, now I'm so curious to find that.
that's our mission. Anyway, until next time, bye.
Bye. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Meredith. Bye-bye.
Hi, Meredith. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.